Alrighty, welcome back everybody to Secret Squirrel Games. I'm your host, Secret Squirrel. Today we are going to be returning to the Tutorial Tuesday concept. It has been a little while since I've done a Tutorial Tuesday. It's been a few weeks. But today we're going to do it again because I haven't visited it in a little while, and I figured it would be good for any of those newer folks and stuff out there maybe to get a little, an idea of some of the aspects of the game that maybe they haven't really taken advantage of or gotten into. They haven't really delved into the details of or anything like that. Let me roll up my sleeves and get to this. So today's tutorial, I'm not going to do a tutorial for the whole thing, for all the aspects of the game. I've done that before. That can be lengthy. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the tutorials. I've done a tutorial about fuel before, for example, just fuel. Today I'm going to go ahead and talk about tab number 2 over here, factions, and how that works, how the faction system works in Crossout. Okay, so the way it works is instead of experience points in Crossout, you have reputation, okay? And you gain reputation with different factions. Now, what this reputation will show right here, for example, right under your name. This reputation that it shows and this level here that's right next to it, which is your current level, your reputation level with a given faction or whatever. These numbers that show here are with the Engineers faction. All right, so the way this works is when you look on tab 2, you'll see a series of different factions, different groups here, okay? And in fact, there's even an arrow here to indicate that there's an extra one, over here that you don't even see on the screen initially. This one was added in the last seasonal event, the Syndicate, and before it is the Founders, which was added in the first seasonal event. But other than that, you have the Engineers, and then you have 6 others, right? You have these 5 here, and this one up here right now. Now, I'll talk about the placement on the screen in just a minute. First, I'm going to just talk about what the factions actually are. When you first start the game, you only have Engineers as available to you, okay? And Engineers will remain your current faction throughout the entirety of your gameplay. That's why this little check mark is up here in this upper corner. That shows that it is a current faction, meaning you are always earning reputation toward them, number 1, and number 2, you will always have access to their workbenches. All right? And this is important. This is what the faction system does. So it shows that it is a current faction, okay? You can never deselect away from Engineers and not have them as a current active faction for you. Okay, they're always going to be active. You're always going to gain experience points toward them. Reputation, in other words. You're always going to have access to their workbenches. The way the faction system works is you gain reputation, which you'll see as the yellow or the gold area on the outside, or maybe orange, whatever you want to call it, on the outside of the diamond that bears that faction's emblem in it, okay? The number inside is what level you currently are with that faction. In the case of the Engineers, it caps off at level 30. Once you get to level 30, then you continue to gain reputation, but then they go and do these elite levels, I think they're called, or something like that. And that's what the 32 is. So in other words, once I gained level 30, I still gained enough reputation to go around and around and around this again 32 more times. Follow? Okay. Now, what this means is that I've unlocked all the equipment, 225 of 225. So in other words, they give you 225 pieces of equipment as you go up in level with them. I've gotten all of that already awarded, and therefore I'm not gaining any specific pieces of equipment anymore from them. And I've unlocked the faction's blueprints, 6 of 6. I'm going to show you what those are. If I click on that faction, you'll see, and we'll get into these up here in just a second. These are the workbenches, okay? But you'll see vehicle blueprints, 6 of 6. You can see 5 vehicles here, but you have the option of selecting all here, and it'll show all 6. This is the first vehicle blueprint that you get from the Engineers, just a starter car. 3 basic machine guns, which is actually 2 starter machine guns and whatever they're called. I can't remember off the top of my head what they're called. And then the LM54 cord, which is a little bit better than those two. And it's just a basic little pickup, right? Okay, now I could test drive from here. I could go into my blueprints and see that vehicle. I could test drive from here. I could save it to my blueprints, whatever I want. But I don't need to save it to my blueprints, and I'll show you why real quick. I'm going to come out of the Factions tab, go back to the garage, and show you real quick. The Blueprints tab right here. You can't really see it right now on my stream because of all this other text here for stream-specific information. But there are 3 tabs up here. One is for saved blueprints. These are my blueprints, ones that I've either created or saved off of somebody else's build on the exhibition or something like that, whatever it is. Or say somebody else sent me a build and I looked at it, I liked it, and I saved it myself, that kind of thing. One is for, the third one over is for packs. These are packs that you can buy in the shop currently. That's what these builds are. So like that or that. These are ones that are available in packs. But the middle one is for factions. And you'll see that there are a lot here because they're all from the different factions. The very bottom 6 are the Engineers faction. As you can see, Engineers, and it'll show the power score, and it'll show each of the ones that you can get from them. So when I go back to the Factions tab, and I look at Engineers, and I look at these 6, you'll see these are those same ones that we just saw. All right, these are awarded as you go up in level. Again, when I hit, I don't remember what level each one is, but I thought it said, but I don't remember what level each one is. But you'll start off with one, and then it'll give you another as you gain a little more level. It'll give you another blueprint and all this stuff. Those are always accessible on your blueprints option off the garage via that Factions tab. So if you ever want to just try any of those instead of building your own, you have lots of vehicle blueprints already free and available to you, already built. Not by other players, but by that are representative of the different factions. Okay, these are the engineer style vehicles. Okay. Additionally, if you recall, on this tab it says 225 of 225 pieces of equipment given. What that is this equipment line right here. So if you click all here, you'll see that at level 1, it unlocked and gave all this stuff for free, right? At level 2, you got all these pieces of equipment automatically given to you. At level 3 with the engineers, you got these pieces of equipment and access to one of the adventure modes, for example, or the adventure mode. At level 4, you then gained access to easy raids and things like that and different pieces of equipment. Well, ultimately, when you get to by the time you get to level 30, you've unlocked 225 of these pieces of equipment that are just given to you. They now appear, if I scroll down, past the weapons and stuff like that, all this stuff or whatever in these, in your storage. That's where it comes, that's where it ends up showing up. All right, so they give you a bunch of these pieces of equipment. And then once you get to prestige levels, like it says here, you can keep increasing your prestige level. That's it, not elite levels, prestige levels. Beyond the cap and still get a reward every time. Containers are rewarded for each level and parts are limited. But they'll give you these parts and they'll give you one of these lead engineers containers, okay? Which can contain upgrade, stabilizer, or coins. This is new. It used to be that they gave you I don't remember what it was called, like a prestige level container that had a random part in it instead. Now it instead has an upgrade, stabilizer, or coins. You know what? I don't know that I appreciate that as much. I think the parts were better, but it is what it is. So you have vehicle blueprints and you have equipment, and all the factions have these. So as you gain levels with them, you'll unlock more vehicle blueprints. As you gain levels with them, you'll be given certain amounts of equipment, certain types of equipment too. There's kind of thematic based on which faction it is. And you'll catch on to that as you look at each one of them. But additionally, you're unlocking workbenches as you go along. So for example, when you first start with the engineers, you may only have certain pieces unlocked. I don't remember at what level each one of these unlocked, but you might have only had the first, 5 or 7 pieces or whatever unlocked in the beginning. And then as you gain second level, you might have unlocked another 3 and then another 4 or whatever, or the third level and things like that until you had them all unlocked. All right, and what I mean by unlocked is, I mean, you now have the capability of crafting this item on this faction's workbench. The white level workbench here is for common items. Common items are that they only require scrap and copper. They're overall extremely cheap. They have 0 crafting cost, and what I mean by that is, yes, they cost resources, but they don't also cost you any of your in-game coins. Okay, your actual coins to use this workbench, it's always free. And additionally, they have no crafting time. Therefore, if I want to craft this LM54 cord, I just hit craft and boom, it's done. There's no delay. There's no additional cost that's going to come off of my, money figure here. The only thing that's going to be used up are a couple of resources: scrap metal and copper. Here's my total scrap metal, 12,688 that I have in storage. It's going to cost me 30 to do this. I have 33,391 copper, and it's going to cost me 6 to do this. So 30 scrap and 6 copper, and boom, I have an LM54 cord immediately with no additional cost. All right, so the white workbench is only available on the engineers, which isn't a problem though, considering, like as I said, that the engineers are always listed as a current faction, because you're never inactive with the engineers. They're always active. Now, as you gain enough levels, you'll also start to unlock some items on the blue workbench. Blue workbench have not only scrap and copper costs, but they have a production time, so it's going to cost you 15 minutes of time once you start this. Now, that can be accelerated if you're willing to spend some more coins, but B, it's also going to cost you 3 coins to use a blue workbench, usually, though you can get coupons that'll give you free access, or sometimes they might do an event where they say, hey, free rare workbench. And why I say rare is because blue is for crafting rare parts. That's what they call it. Blue equates to rare in this game. And then there's also prerequisite parts that need to be crafted and are expended in the crafting of this item. So little boy 6-pound turret cannon here. If I wanted to make one of these, I would have to have a fuel barrel and a 57mm Avenger, which, as you can see by their labeling, the whole top banner there where the name is, and the fact that and on the outline here, the little bar that goes across the top, these are white items, meaning they would be craftable on this, so on this workbench. So I would go here, I would craft the Avenger 57mm, and then I would craft the fuel barrel, and then I would come back, and if I wanted to craft this, I would then craft it. Now, it would cost 650 scrap and 130 copper and 3 coins and take 15 minutes to do. But it would also use up that fuel barrel and that Avenger 57mm. Those do get used up in the crafting of this item, for example. And all the different things have different prerequisite parts, and as you can see, but the blue items are generally going to have the same scrap and copper costs, and it's going to be the same coin costs and the same amount of time for production. And the reason I say generally is because I'm not just talking about engineers, because though the white workbench is only available on engineers, all the other factions, well, that's not true, actually. The next 3 factions that you unlock when you get to, I think, 5th level, if I recall correctly, or is it 10th? I think it's 5th level. When you get to 5th level with the engineers, I think, you unlock the lunatics, the nomads, and the scavengers workbenches as options, those factions as options. And by unlocking it, you unlock a few things, really. You then get to choose one. You go, okay, I'm going to make scavengers an active faction. You would activate this faction, and you would start earning reputation with them. And that's where this second box up here comes in. This box is your second active faction. You'll see it also has a check mark in the upper corner, and it also gets listed as a current faction, whatever one you happen to put up here. But Engineers doesn't go away. It's always active. But then this other one is your other active faction, and you'll earn reputation toward levels with it. You'll unlock equipment as you gain levels with it. And you'll see, as you can see, I only started doing Steppenwolves not too long ago. I've done the others for a long time. I've just never really felt the need to do Steppenwolves. I didn't have a lot of Steppenwolves parts that I necessarily wanted, so I really didn't care too much. You're also going to unlock some vehicle blueprints. So as you can see, these things are locked until 5th level, until 7th level, until 10th level, 13th and 15th level. I only have one vehicle blueprint from Steppenwolves. That's this one right here. And again, you'll see a theme to their style of vehicles. These ones are like military style, heavy armor, things like the artillery, things like that. You can see a theme to their style. This is the only one I have unlocked with Steppenwolves, and it gets unlocked right away. When I get 5th level, I'll unlock this one as well. Not that I ever need to use those. That's really my choice or whatever, but you can always use them as a foundation for something else and then kind of create some things off of it if you don't want to build yourself. Likewise with equipment, though. As you can see, at each level, I got some parts and things like that or whatever, and then when you get to level 5 and 6 and things like that, you'll unlock more parts. But on top of that, the other thing that you unlock when you pick up one of these other factions is if you go back to your garage, you will unlock access to their co-driver. You'll see the symbols here for the different factions. So Master Jack is the first one that you unlock, that you have with engineers. But then, like, if you unlock the lunatics next, you're going to end up with Bulldog as an option. See, it says faction, lunatics. And then he can start leveling up as he is your listed co-driver. He'll start leveling up and you can unlock different abilities from him. Like this one gives self-destruct damage plus 5% when he gains 3rd level, for example. When he gains 4th level, he'll get 2% damage bonus with melee weapons, chainsaws, things like that. So, again, you're unlocking not only the parts that you get for free, you're unlocking as you level up. You're not only are you, the equipment here. Not only are you unlocking some free blueprints as well that are given to you with that particular faction. You're also unlocking the workbenches as you progress and level up, which you'll notice this one does not have a blue one, and that's what I'm going to get to in a second. But you're also unlocking those co-drivers. So after engineers, you end up unlocking the option of switching to lunatics, nomads, or scavengers as your other active workbench. Once you get to 10th level in one of those, you unlock one of these 3, depending on which one of the ones that you get to 10th level in first. So I believe lunatics unlocks fire starters. So when you get to 10th level with lunatics, then you can start gaining reputation with the fire starters. You can make them their active workbench and start earning their rewards as well. Now, like I said, Founders and Syndicate, they're both specifically from events, and they were allowed to actually basically be your third active faction at the time. And you'll see they can't be joined. All right, they're not accepting new survivors into their ranks. Same thing with Founders. And now I didn't get into Founders during the process or during that event early enough to have full access to all their stuff. This is all I can craft of their workstations. But if you look at Syndicate, for example, I have a lot more. I can craft those, I can craft all these, whatever, and I can craft these because I went to all the levels. I maxed out the levels of Syndicate during that event. So, again, Engineers is always active. Nomad, Scavengers, and Nomad, Scavengers, and Lunatics. Forgot. I was like, where the hell is Lunatics? I forgot it was over there. Nomad, Scavengers, and Lunatics. Those are the ones that are unlocked. Those are your first choices to be unlocked from Engineers. And then once you select any of those, you can go back and forth between them. Which, by the way, normally there is a 24-hour wait to switch between that other active faction and another one. So like this is current faction right now. If I wanted to switch to Lunatics, I would have to hit change faction. It would switch me right away, but then I couldn't change to another faction as an active faction for 24 hours. Now, why do you want to switch? Because like I said, they all have different workbenches. So I can craft these items, for example, on the special level workbench, which the blue is rare, like I said, the white was common, like we said, and then this is special, these are epics, and these are legendary parts. And I can, obviously they get progressively more powerful parts as well as you go along. But if I wanted to craft, this sidekick, then I need to have Steppenwolf's active as my active faction. But if I then wanted to go over here and craft this owl, for example, or whatever, this drone, I have to have nomads as my active faction. I would have to change faction and then do nomads instead. We already talked about how blue have a 3 coin cost and a 15-minute production time. They still only use copper and scrap and then a couple of white items as their prerequisite parts. Well, when you go to turquoise, the reason I have cost one of these things right now, because that's a coupon. So in other words, I have a free level of, or one free use of this level of workbench right now, the special level workbench. So don't worry about that. But normally it would be 15 coin costs, and you can see it uses more resources, and 2 blue level parts, which the blue level parts would each obviously have their own resource costs as well as white level parts, and the production time increases also to 2 hours now. And then when you go to purple, well, don't worry, that's not the same. 6 hours, those are just standards. Those don't have the same kind of rules basically as regular parts do. But 6 hour production. I'm sorry, this is a 15. Correction. Yes. The turquoise is not a 15 coin cost. It's only a 6 coin cost. The purple is a 15 coin cost, and it has its own resources and then 3 of the turquoise parts, and it costs 6 hours. And then if you want to do a legendary, then you're looking at a 75 coin cost, 21 hours to produce the item, and it has different resource costs and 3 purple items. So as you can see, it gets progressively higher. And then when you get into engineers, you'll see that this is actually a darker color. This is a darker orange as compared to like that gold kind of color that the other one was. And that's because this secret workbench for the engineers has different color parts on it. It has multiple parts, but the coloration that's on the outside is for the highest level parts, which are epic part. Why am I saying epic? Relic parts. And these are extremely powerful items, and they have a very high cost to them, as you can see. Okay? So that's the way the faction system works. It is... Other than that, you're just gaining... It's not that complicated, really. You just have to keep in mind what active faction you want to have, depending on what your crafting desires are. And once you and one thing I do want to point out, though, is once you activate a faction and you gain access to their co-driver option here, it doesn't have to match with the 2. So in other words, when I switch to Nomad faction, that doesn't automatically mean that I have the Nomad, that I have Perseus here as the Nomad co-driver. He doesn't automatically become my co-driver, nor does it mean that I have to have him. I can still have somebody else. I can have Bulldog, who's a Lunatic faction co-driver, while I have Nomads as my active faction. And you're only gaining experience. Your co-driver's gaining reputation regardless. Whichever co-driver you have active in your vehicle, and you're only gaining reputation. You're always gaining reputation, like I said, with engineers, and you're only gaining reputation otherwise with whichever faction you have active in order to unlock the other elements of their faction. And once it's all unlocked, then none of that really matters so much anymore, because you're already going to have all the blueprints. You're already going to have all the equipment that they give for free. The only thing that's going to matter then is which one you want active based on what your crafting desires are going to be. I want to make this item, I have to make that faction, the appropriate faction, the active faction, so that I can then craft those items. And while that sounds pretty straightforward in the beginning, at low levels it is pretty straightforward. When you're only talking about crafting blue items, it doesn't matter. You just make that your active faction and you craft it. But when you start getting into some of these legendary items, you'll see that they might require parts from different factions. So like the owl here, for example, was on the Nomads faction workbench. It's not on, so I can't keep, when you get to legendary items, I can't keep Steppenwolf as my active faction and be able to craft all the things I need to craft one of their legendary items. I'm going to be able to craft some of the things, but other things I'm going to have to switch to a different faction, craft some prerequisite items, and then come back to Steppenwolves. So that helps add to some of the delay for production, because you got to factor in addition to the actual crafting time, for all the prerequisite items, and then of course for the legendary item itself, you also have to factor in that 24-hour switch between factions. So what you want to do is, if you're going to try to craft something that's of a legendary level or something like that, you probably want to write down, just make some notes and write down, as long as I'm on this workbench, I'm going to go ahead and craft these prerequisite items, and then I'll switch to this workbench and craft and then I'll switch to this workbench and craft these items, and then I'll be done. And so that you're not going back and forth and adding extra days of delay to your total crafting process. And I think that wraps up factions, and that's going to be the crux of the tutorial today. So what we can do is we can get back on with challenges, our regular daily challenges. And what do you mean a Skinner? Is that, I didn't even look at that. I've not looked at that. And by the way, welcome, Gore. Is that I'm not familiar with that name. Is that a weapon? Sorry, I just wanted to finish up the tutorial that I was in the middle of before I addressed your message. Perhaps you left. I don't know. Made myself a Skinner yesterday. Not sure what that is. And I'm not familiar with that. If that's a weapon, I mean, at least it's not ringing a bell. So what we're going to do here is we will get into gameplay. We're going to knock out the daily challenges. The daily challenge weapon for today is going to be cannon, turret cannon, or plasma gun. So I use this, oops, man, I always do that. I use this basic machine gun build here, and all I do is take those 6 energy points off by removing the machine guns. I move my... Oh, nope, get down. Hey, get down. I move my coolers in there. I come and I get myself... Oh, something that I'm in the wrong area for. Ammo pack. Bleep, bleep. Switch it to that kind of a position right there. I come and grab myself a bucket floor. And I grab myself the weapon of choice today, which is going to be a little boy 6-pounder here as a turret cannon. I'll move this out of the way. I will move this to there. I will move that to there. And I will move that to there. And then finally, come on down here and put that there. And then, you got to paint it up a little bit. So if I paint it up just a smidge, and I go, bleak, and then I come on right, chow, bing, and I'm good to go. So now I just go get myself some low power score lovin' from the bots as we go and hit ourselves some patrol mission, because this is the most efficient means of knocking out your daily challenges. The ones that say win 2 battles and missions, and win 2 battles and missions or raids using a cannon, turret cannon, or plasma gun. Super efficient means. You have to win, and they have to be battles and missions or raids with this, but missions. But you can get both of these accomplished at the same time if you just make them missions, and you have to win. Well, all 4 of these icons up here, as far as your battle type choices or options, count as missions. Even though these 3 say mission versus survivors, mission versus survivors, mission versus survivors, and this one says battle against AI vehicles, it still counts as a mission. And these 3 are PvP, which means your chance of success is automatically limited or restricted, I guess, based on your skill versus your enemy skills and things like that. So it's literally a 50-50 that you're going to win on those. If your objective is to win in order to accomplish these missions, you want to go with something with a higher, you want to go do missions that do a higher chance of success, and that would be these patrol missions. Oh. Ah, that was a terrible shot. Harpoon weapon. Got it. That's why I'm not familiar with it. I haven't, at least by name. I mean, I've seen it. I messed around on a test drive with it at one point or whatever, but never actually played with it or anything. So like I said, the AI battles are highest chance of success, and therefore that's why I use them, especially at low power score. At higher power score, they can be a real challenge. They actually can be, yes. And that reduces your chance of success significantly. But if you stick at a low power score, easy peasy. You know, so yeah, super simple. Double tempura with Skinner build. So what, you pull them close and then you tempura them? Nice. I wonder how it would work, a cap can and a Skinner. Like, can you lock them in a particular position that way? Because you get a cap can on one side and you get the harpoon on the other, and it just holds them in place. Ah. Well, yeah, I guess that would work too. Just multiple cap cans, and then, you know, put one on each side, basically, and that'll keep it where they're restricted in between because they can't go one way and they can't go the other way. I know Cyborg plays a crane build. I'm familiar with that. With the harpoon or whatever on it. So I think I had been waiting for Mech Warrior to come out, and now I see that Welly has also started. So it's been out, but I guess I must have missed its notification. I had my eye on it before, but I didn't put it on my Steam wishlist or anything like that. God, man, what is... Goodness. Like, for real. I'm having some... I'm dying over here. Dying over here. Like I said, I had been looking for it for some time before, and it I guess the new, or maybe not. Maybe it's not the same one. Maybe it's the new Mech Warrior. Maybe it's is it Mech Warrior 4? Is that the one I'm looking? Because this one's been out since Mech Warrior Online's been out since 2015. I don't know how I missed that. Maybe it's Mech Warrior 4 or 5 or something. Mech Warrior 5 Mercenaries, maybe. I think maybe it's that one. Yeah, okay. That's the one. And it's coming out in, I don't know, 9 days. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, he's playing, the one he's playing has been out since 2015. But I had seen the ads for MechWarrior 5 when I was playing Battletech or whatever it was, or shortly thereafter or whatever. And it's coming out on the 27th. And I was excited about that. I never really realized about MechWarrior Online. I don't know how it skipped my attention this whole time. So, I'm probably going to pick up and start playing some of that too. But I am interested in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries as well. Although that's a different game and you pay for it. It's not free to play online. Ah. Yeah, I've never gotten to play the MechWarrior games as much as I'd like, but I've always liked the MechWarrior, thing. Oh, really? That's nice. If you save some money on it, that's always good. Like I built. Let me just see. What are they running for? I built a couple of arbiters, recently. Crafted a couple of arbiter. What? No, I'm gonna say arbiters. Arbiter. And they're running for 26 now. Damn. And they didn't. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was expensive, but I built 2 of them. And it cost me just under 2,000 total coins. Which is about the same as my retchers, really. My retchers cost me about 1,800 or so, I think, coins to build 2 of them. And yet they go for 3,100 each now. At the time I built the retchers, they were going for about between 24 and 2,600. And now they're going for 3,100. And I built 2 of them for like 1,800. So I'm like, don't get me wrong. If I didn't love my retchers so much, there's a part of me that would be like, I could make 6,200 coins off of something that cost me 1,800 coins to make. Yes. Yes, please. But I get a lot of use out of my retchers, that's for sure. I get a lot of use out of my retchers. I'm not against necessarily starting the crafting process for another one, though. I could do it. But I'm going to need some money to do that. I can't just start the craft. I'm only at 500 coins. I have to have enough to... Damn, man. The queue has been 2.5 minutes. I'm going to redo it. I don't think it's going to matter necessarily, but I'm going to redo it anyway. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, there are other things I could sell. I have some things I could sell. Like this, what's it, the chainsaw thing or whatever it is that I have? Where is that? One of those. Where the hell is that thing? Oh, here it is. Mauler. I don't know that I'm going to use that. Maybe. I mean, whatever. Got this Lancelot. You know. Which, I mean, I could use that, I mean, you know, every now and then, whatever, if I just had an extra energy point to blow or whatever. But actually, I think it's a prerequisite requisite item. I think the Lancelot is an item necessary for the Retcher, even, if I'm correct. Think so. So I might. Oh, are you kidding me? Look at that. Oh, almost. Thanks, buddy. I barely hit that rock and got turned completely over. Oh, man. I don't know where, but whatever, we got him. We. Yeah, one more of those to do. All right. Yeah, I mean, I think the Retcher requires. Retchers are numereds. Yep, requires a Lancelot. So I thought, and I have one. I got it from a Pathfinder's container. So, at least that saves me the trouble. I could just craft these other two things here or whatever. Of course, I'd need to buy some batteries. But 2 impulses and 2 owls. Impulses are scavengers, I believe. Yep. I could start crafting some of these items. Get them going. So I would switch to crafting the owls last because they're on the same workbench as the Retcher, the nomads. I mean, not the same workbench technically, but you know what I'm saying, the same faction. But the scavenger, well, actually, let me just see what their prerequisites would be for the owls. Sinus Zero, Ampere, and Hawk. Sinus Zero, Rapier, and blah blah blah. Yeah, I could start. I can make myself another Retcher. I think I could come up with the money for that. That's if worse comes to worse, to sell that Mauler or something, just to have the money to make it. That could put me in pretty decent money position. Oh man, I missed. Ah, I missed again. Are you kidding me? I'm so terrible. There you go. That was a good shot. Took the cannon right off. Ah. It was an important shot. Took the cannon right off from the back. Ba-bam. Oh well. So, then we move on to craft any part on any workbench. Perfect, considering that's exactly what I was just talking about doing. So let's see what we got for that. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna make an all-profit retcher. I'm gonna start working on an all-profit retcher. So for that, like I said, I'll do the owls. Let me make sure what prerequisites I need for them first. Just so I have what I need. Okay, Ampere, Sinus Zero, and Hawk. All of which are on here. Sinus Zero requires a Vector and a Rapier. Vector is on here, I believe. Yep, Vector, yep. And then Rapier is on Engineers. Hawk requires a Falcon and a Tamer, and I believe Falcon is on here. And there it is, and Tamer is on Engineers. And Ampere requires a Chill and Racing Wheel STs, and Chill is on Engineers again, and Racing Wheel STs are on here. So everything necessary for the 3 turquoise items necessary to make the owl is also on the Nomad workbench. So if I look at retchers here, all of this would be on the Nomad workbench. This is already taken care of. It would be on the Lunatics workbench, I believe. And then this one is the Impulse, which is on the Scavengers workbench. And its requirements are Python, Charge, and Prosecutor. And if you come along here, Prosecutor, Charge, and Python are all on their workbench. What? Hold on a second. No. New external input is connected. HDMI 1. No. Why did... That is bizarre. For whatever reason, my Xbox One just turned itself on. Which is an extremely strange thing. Considering I can't even think of the last time I used it. And it just turned itself on. Okay. So anyway, back to this game. The Prosecutor requires the ammo pack, which I have some of those, but they're also available from the Engineer bench. And then the Judge, which is from right here. So that's on this one. The Charge requires that from the Engineer bench and the Cobra, which are from here. Yep. And then the Python requires a Chill and a Cobra. And we already know the Cobra's from here and the Chill is from the Engineer bench. Okay, so my best bet at this point, if I'm going to craft this, would be to go on to Scavengers. And we're going to need a Judge, 2 Cobras over here. We can do that. Yep. Let's get a Judge. Cobra. We can do a Cobra right now. Let's get that crafted. Bang. Then we're going to need a Lupara and a radio. And a medium wheel ST and an Avenger. Those are all of instant builds from the Engineers faction. Lupara, Radio, Avenger, and medium wheel ST. There you go. Now we're ready to craft the next, or actually, do I need 2 of these, or I need two, yeah, I'm going to need 2 because I'm going to need 2 impulses. Yep. It's fine. 2 impulses, which is going to mean 2 of each of these things. Yes. Judge is already taken care of. That's taken care of, and that's taken care of from that perspective, from this workbench perspective. As far as the requirements, I'm going to need a Chill, a Horizon, and probably another ammo pack, just to make sure. I'm going to need a couple of those things, actually, but still. A chill I can go ahead and make right now, as long as I replace that radio. And I'll go ahead and replace the R1 Breeze as well, for that matter. Let's go ahead and just do those right now, just so I don't forget them. Breeze is up right here. And then I'll get that chill going. There you go. And then, well, those are crafting. That's fine. I'll revisit them in 15 minutes or whatever, and we'll get the next wave of stuff being produced. Once we get the scavenger items produced, which are going to be the 2 impulses, that'll be our more short-term goal. Then once we'll have the 2 impulses, we'll already have the Lancelot. We'll just switch over to Nomads. We'll make the 2 hawks or owls, I'm sorry, the 2 owls drones over there, and then we'll have enough to make a Retcher. Shouldn't be too hard. I think we'll do it, no problem. Now, we do need to go ahead and do our raids. We need, well, we got a bunch of stuff left to do, right? Did I? Oh, no, I was going to say, I haven't done anything, right? I didn't think so. Yeah, I haven't, because I didn't even play yesterday. So, yeah, I haven't done anything yet. So, we're going to start with 10 hard raids with copper as the reward. We're going to make some progress toward that. We're going to do 3 of those at 60 fuel cost each for 180 fuel, leaving me with 20 fuel left to do an easy raid, which will progress toward the win 6 battles and easy raids weekly challenge as well. And in doing so, of course, we switch to, nope, not the factions things, my own, and we switch to that right there. And then we go ahead and do hard raids with copper as the reward, like this one right here, perimeter breach against Dawn's children. It's only available for the next 7 minutes, therefore that means that once we do this one, it will switch to something else. My goal, yeah, my crafting goal, I think, will be go ahead and get a Retcher built. Might as well. I mean, I've already got that Lancelot anyway, and might as well. So see if I can profit some coins out of it. Once that gets me up there, I can craft out something else with those coins and then make some more profit or something. I don't know. I'm just crafting for profit now, I think. I don't know exactly how profitable people think, or the system says that it thinks that Retchers are currently. But considering that I already had an item that was at least 300 gold, or 300 coins worth of cost, granted to me from a loot box, it will be that much more profitable. What's going on, Beavis? Let me guess, this is a game. This is a game. It is. I just said it was. Alright. Am I overshooting them? I'm overshooting them. Sometimes it's hard to see if they're closer or further. You know, I just see the icon above them and that's it. Beep. That just reminds me when you come into a video game or whatever and you're immediately just going, is this a game? You know, or whatever. There was this time where some friends of mine and I were out, hanging out in a park at night, just BSing and whatnot. We might have been having some drinks, whatever. But at the time, I was a law enforcement officer. And this is South Florida. This is Miami area and stuff like that. And I don't trust anybody down here because they will rob you blind. And, you know, it's not the safest area. We were in Miami. And it was nighttime, like I said, like the middle of the night. And I mean, there were other people in the park, but they were on the other side of the park. They were hanging out by their cars, listening to music and stuff and BSing and stuff like we were doing. That's all we were doing. We were hanging out by our car, or by my car, and just listening to some music and chilling and hanging out and whatever. Because we just couldn't be at my buddy's house, and I didn't live in the Miami area. I lived up in Fort Lauderdale, so I had come down to visit him, and so we decided we were just going to hang out in the park and, you know, listen to some tunes and BS and whatever. And there were like 3 of us. And while we're there, I see these 2 dudes. And I see them, and they kind of like lean in and talk to each other. They're across the park and all this stuff. And next thing you know, they're kind of meandering their way toward us, you know. And I told my buddy too, I say, keep an eye on those guys, you know. There's something about the way they're carrying themselves and all this stuff. Like I said, I was a cop. You know, I've dealt with those kinds of guys all the time. And I mean, I was a cop at the time that this was happening, but I wasn't in my jurisdiction because I wasn't a Miami cop. I was the next county up. And I see these 2 dudes, and I tell my buddy, keep an eye on those guys. And while we're hanging out, they just kind of they're kind of, you know, trying to make it seem casual, but eventually they just kind of start walking our way. And I got a bad vibe from them. I was like, yeah, no, I don't think so. And then sure enough, you know, they come walking toward one of the guys, kind of hangs back a little bit, and he's like looking around, you know, like to make sure nobody else really sees or whatever's out and about. And I'm like, no, you know. And so I go ahead and I go around my car. Yeah, I was on the passenger side with my buddy at the time, you know, because we had the passenger door open or whatever. We were just hanging out, standing outside. And so I go ahead and I go around my car to the driver's side. And I lean in and I make sure I grab my weapon, you know, because I was a cop, like I said. You know, it's just I didn't have it on me. I had it in my car. So I grabbed my weapon and I, you know, tuck it in, you know, the back of my waistband, and as those guys as one of the guys approaches while the other guy's like looking around. And when the one guy approaches, you know, I address him before he gets too close, of course. But while he's I don't know, 15 feet away, 20 feet away, and I say, what's up? You know, and he's like, no, nothing, man. You know, we were listening to, you know, we're jamming to some rock and all this kind of stuff or whatever, and he's like he clearly looked like he was trying to come up with something to say so that he could approach closer, but it wasn't natural at all. He just kind of goes, is that rock music? It's so obvious it was rock, you know. It's like, what a dumb thing to say, you know. It was the most obvious thing, and yet that's what he chose as his like approach line. You know, he goes, is that rock music you're listening to? I'm like, yeah, it's rock music. You know? I say, did you want something else? You know, and of course the guy's like, no, I just want it. And because I like positioned myself, put my hand on my waist and everything. And then he's like, he could tell I was at least acting like I had something, you know, in my waistband, if I didn't really have something in my waistband, which I did. But luckily, I think he got the vibe and he turned and walked away. But I always remember that because it was so awkwardly, you know, weird of a line to just approach somebody and say, is that rock music? Yeah, it's rock music, dude. You know? Like it's so obvious. You're not really asking about the music. You don't really care about the music. You're just trying to gauge our reaction, me and my buddy's reaction, as far as, are you going to be able to approach and rob us or something? You know, and I was like, no, you might have picked the wrong person. Because if you want to try it, you're going to get plugged with a 45. But yeah, so every time you come in and you go, is this a game? Or this is a game? Or something like that, I always think of just that generic, well, yeah, it's obviously a game. We're playing a game, you know? It always jumps out at me. But yeah, it's I'm always one of those people who, well, I mean, occupational hazard. Between that and the, yeah, give me your wallet. Between, you know, the former cop job and the stuff I did in the military, I've always been one of those people who really pays attention to their surroundings and the threat in the area and all that kind of stuff. So I'm the wary, always wary of your surroundings kind of guy. I'm the keep your head on a swivel kind of guy. Sometimes it makes me jealous of friends of mine because they get to like live in the moment more and like just be freewheeling, but of course they also take that risk of not paying attention to their surroundings and what might happen to them because of it. But me, I'm always just like, what's that guy doing? Why are they asking that? What is this going on? Things like that. Krav Maga. It's fine. It's just and welcome to the stream, by the way, Barry. And it is and some people act like it's a big, it's a badass martial art and all this stuff. It's really kind of more of an extension. Yeah, absolutely. Right? Yeah, I hate that. I hate when people do that. And not just because of the inconvenience of them getting in your way and things like that, but I really hate the fact that people just don't pay attention to their surrounding. I don't like when people allow themselves to be victims, when people are so oblivious, because a lot of these people don't understand that a lot of people have blind faith in other people, and as nice as that would be to say, yeah, people are generally good, a lot of people are not. A lot of people are not at all generally good. I would love to be able to say it's a nice world we live in and everybody's friendly to each other and all this kind of stuff, but that's just not the case. It's not a nice world we live in, There are a lot of people out there looking to victimize other people. And even if they're not looking to actively victimize other people, there are definitely a lot of people out there who are opportunists, who will take opportunity, they will take the chance that you give them. If you don't have your wits about you, if you're not paying attention, then yes, somebody will take advantage of that in a heartbeat. It is sad, but that's just and don't get me wrong, you have to, well, of course not, you're in Canada, In Canada, they'd have too much apologizing to do if they took advantage of somebody. But, and that's what I was about to say also, is that I say that as a blanket statement in general, but the reality of it is, of course, that gets then modified by the region. You know, where you are, you know, what the circumstances of that area are, you know. Now, I don't necessarily mean impoverished will do that more than well-off will take advantage of somebody. That's not necessarily the case. There are plenty of folks in decent economies who will still do that. There are other folks, though, in impoverished areas who would never do that because they were just raised right. You know, they just don't treat each other like that, you know. It's not necessarily specifically tied or linked in any way to the economics of an area. But, of course, to a degree, there is a factor of that, though. I mean, it's not 100% surefire that that's the case, though. That the poor will do that, will rip you off. You know, any individual... I shouldn't say that. I should say no, it's not definitively linked like any individual poor is automatically going to do that versus somebody who's well off or a higher social class. That's more about the individual. But in general, in the aggregate, in numbers, I would say, yeah, it's going to happen more often in impoverished areas than in better economies just because the people end up being more desperate in many cases. Not necessarily malicious, but at least for the opportunist, they're just going to end up being more desperate. I mean, there are plenty of well-off folks who are quite malicious. But yeah, in South Florida, we definitely have a lot of that. Like I said, being a cop especially, I'd see all that all the time, and I was always amazed at how much people allowed themselves to be victimized. You know. So many people have this blind faith in other people not ripping them off, and I'm like, and then they get surprised when they get ripped off, and I'm like, how did you not see this coming? You know? I tell this story all the time. There was a woman who had called because her purse had been stolen, right? And so of course I responded, and she's at a gas station, and her purse was stolen while she was inside the gas station paying. And I said, oh, okay, you didn't bring your purse in with you? No. Where was your purse? On the front seat of my car. Okay, I don't see any broken glass. Oh, no, the window was down. And I'm like, that's one of those, you ain't from around here, are you? type of moments. When you kind of go, so where exactly are you from? Because this is South Florida. You don't keep your windows down in your car, leave your purse on your front seat, and go inside the gas station to pay and expect your purse to still be there when you come out. You just don't do it. I said, and I literally told her, I said, okay, so your purse really wasn't stolen, you gave your purse away, is what you're saying. And she was like, no, it was stolen. I said, but was it? You left it unattended. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll take the report as if it was stolen. But I'm like, really? You know? Small towns, you can get away with doing that, you know, but not not here. It's like for many for not many years. I mean, we're talking a long time. My father, when my dad moved, my dad and his wife, when they moved out to a small town outside of Dallas, they were like an hour. They were like 45 minutes west of Fort Worth and all this stuff or whatever, and it was just a small town. It had a population of 14,000. Their back door, I don't think, was ever locked. I don't even think the lock worked on the door since they bought the house, and they lived there for 40 years, at least 40 years. And every time I would go, I'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe you people. I lock the door when I walk in and out of my house. When I walk into my house, I lock the door. You know, if I'm going out into my yard, if I'm going to be in my backyard, you can bet my front door's locked. You can bet, even though I'm here on the property, there's no way I'm leaving and my car is always locked, you know? So, yeah, I can't do it. Can't do it. No, you don't do that. Always locked. Somebody would just walk into your house and rob you down here. It happens where they do home invasions or they kick in the door anyway when it is locked. So imagine how easy it'd be if you didn't have your door locked. They'd probably kick it in anyway they would assume it was locked, so they would kick in your door or whatever, and then they would do that. So, you don't even know. So, not my current vehicle, but my previous vehicle I bought from CarMax, and it was a Jeep Grand Cherokee, and they gave me 2 key fobs, right? Pretty standard, right? Absolutely. A lock is not meant to stop somebody, it's just meant to deter them. That's it. I mean, if it can stop them, that's great, but it's meant as a deterrence, you know. If somebody wants something bad enough, they'll get it. But if nothing else, if they're just being opportunists or whatever, same thing with your car or anything. If your car is locked and it has an alarm on it and things like that, might make somebody move on to the next car. That's all. But, so... yeah, so you gave it away. That's what I'm saying. So I buy this truck from CarMax, and they give me 2 key fobs, which is the standard, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. I got this thing. My 2 key fobs, whatever. And it had the things where, as you walk, all you do is touch the handle, and it automatically unlocks the door. That's the way it was set, you know. As long as you have the key fob, you know, on you, and you touch the handle, then the door just automatically unlocks. And you can have it where it automatically unlocks the driver and passenger side. Well, I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that, because then somebody can come up on the passenger side while I am approaching on the driver's side, and the door would just be unlocked for them. I'm like, I'm not a big fan of that idea. Well, it was 3 months, because it always worked for me, of course, and that's fine. So I would never notice because I always had the fob on me. One day something finally came loose in the little pocket, you know, on the driver's side, the bottom little pocket in the door or whatever, and something was rattling, and I looked down there and I feel down there, a 3rd key fob was in the door. I'm like, are you kidding me? For 3 months, I've been getting in and out of this car, and it must have been jammed in there before, and it must have just come loose that day or whatever, so it started rattling. I said, so for 3 months, anybody could have just walked up to my car, opened the door, and driven off. Because they didn't tell me that there was a 3rd key fob. I was not happy about that. Because they would have had the key. You know, it would have been unlocked, and they would have had the key to drive. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Yeah, I was like, what? I'm so lucky to even have a vehicle right now. Especially down here, because anybody could, because you know, down here, you know, there are people who just go through apartment complex, you know, parking lots checking cars to see if they're unlocked. And that one would have been unlocked, and not only would have been unlocked, but they could have actually, they would have had the fob and been able to just drive off with it. That would have been crazy. I would have been so pissed if I found out that that's how it got stolen. I would have been filing a complaint with you know, with the company that sold it to me, definitely. What in the hell, man? Alright, there we go. Let's get down here. Let's get down to business. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Hello. I'm up here. There's nothing up here. Ain't nothing up here. Ooh, wee 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 no 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 no. Woo wee 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 no 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 no. Oh, he gave it to me right in the face. I don't even know if are we on the last or is there another one after this? Oh, we got another. I walked right up to his double tsunamis and got smacked. Biddle-doo-diddle-doo-doo. Widdle-doo-doo. You're gonna have to excuse me. Oh, you're up here. Thought you were here. And you're not. You're here. Bleep. Bleep, 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 bleep. Grrrr-ka-da-da-da-da-da. Got him. Oh no, some explosions. Explosivenesses. What to do about the explosives? Haha. No, no, say it isn't so. Boom! From topside. From topside. Nice. Alright, so we got 20 fuel left. We're going to go ahead and knock out one easy raid in order to gain some traction toward this Win 6 Battles and Easy Raids portion. Let's go ahead and get that happening now. Our two options for the easy raid are Steel Cradle, or The War for Fire. Yep. Given those two options and the specific maps and everything, I think I'm just going to go with Steel Cradle, actually. Haha, surprised you, didn't I, Gore? Because it's not the desert map, so... Oh, hold on. Before I even do that, let me get something being producified. That's what I need to do. I need to get some things producified. Get another one of them thingies. And I think we're gonna need a dollar. All right, so what's this? Small wheel and radio. All right, let's get that going. Regular small wheel, bing, radio, bing, bing. That wasn't it. Was this bing? Get those things cranking out. I'm gonna start mass producing all these blue items here real quick. And then I'm gonna go back in and hit that Steel Cradle. You know, the arm is still a thing. The arm is still a thing. I need a dollar is all I need. Boom, bum, bum, boom, ba, boom, bum, bum, boom, dum, ba, boom, bum, bum, boom, ba, boom, bum, bum, boom, boom, ba. Come on, Q. Get me in there. Gotta go knock this out real quick. Knock this out. The Q is killing me. It's killing me. It's killing me. The Q is killing me. There it is. I need a dollar is what I need. Pow! The shock absorbers are amazing. Like pure on amazeballs. Boop, boop, boop. This is super fast and easy right here. Oh, there's Camp Dandelion in the game with me. Excuse me. Ah. Well, that came on strong. And sudden. And it's on to the Leviathan. There we go. Beepity beep bow. And we're done with that. Easy breezy cover girl. Now we are going to go ahead and go replay this whatever the hell mission thing, the questline mission thing that we get to do every day for some extra reputations. Which, while I don't need it for the faction, I will use it for my co-driver, who is not maxed out in level yet. And since it is also the beginning of the week, and I did not play yesterday, it's the real beginning of the week for me, I will also go ahead and do a couple of these cider group missions. completely missed them. Both of them. Got that guy. Alright. I hate this one. Because he's so slow. Yeah, escort him, I know. And he's up here. Oh, he's so slow. Come on, slow ass. God, apparently when you forgot all your other memories, you forgot how to drive a car fast. Yay! Alright, come on, go. Doodaloo, doodaloo. Let me get some of these real quick. And then let me go ahead and just finish these guys off because I just don't want to hassle with them. Now, we'll go ahead and... well, whatever. I'll get the ammo next time. Come on, speed it up. Let's go. Shut up. Oh, Jesus. Come on. All right. Let me go get these guys real quick. And then there's these guys up here. Good, let's go. Keep going. Keep going. Do do do, diddle do diddle do do. We're on the way, dude. And then once we're here, we still have to deal with 2 larger enemies. Go, 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 go. I'll go ahead and fast forward that. Here comes the 2 enemies. Yeah, I hear you. I'm just gonna stand here and face you down, dude. There we go. Keep shooting. No time for distractions. What are you talking about? They're dead. Why would I keep shooting? That would be dumb. That'd be dumb. Alright, let me see if I can't knock out couple of these real quick in a fast like. Oh, wow, wow. Wee-no-no-no-no-no. Ba-da-doo-doo-doo-doo. Nothing over here. Yeah. It's not true. There's one over here apparently. Yep, right here. And then we go looking for the others. There's one. No. Yeah, no, it's just scrap. Pick up the Chicago. I saw that one, but I'm going to come down here a little bit and see this one first. And then I'll come whipping around back that way. And then I'll come on up this way. Pick up this scrap. And then I'll come on through here. Get this one. And there should be another. Yep, right there on the road. Beep beep bop beep beep. Ding 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 ding. Ooh, that had to hurt. Trio them in a row like that, just wha-bam, ba-bam, and wha-bam. Das ist dos. Faux show. Boing, 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 boing. Boo-diddle-ding. Zwee. I'm just going to do this last one and then I'm going to be done with this, I think. We're coming up on 2 hours and I think that's all I'm not gonna just do a bunch of these all at once, but that'll be 3 side missions, and then another day I'll do some more or whatever. And yeah, how is it going? It's not the greatest. No. Were you testing it in PvP or in patrol or just messing around somewhere on something, or like out here in the Awakening PvP, and it wasn't doing so well? Well, I mean, that doesn't mean that the crane's not great. It just means you're not good. Well, I mean, I don't mean that insulting. I mean that based on what you just said. I'm not very good with it, so it just takes experience, maybe. Maybe with some experience you'll be a lot better at it and it'll be more effective. You know? Alright, let's get my crafted items, and then I will look and see about moving on. And I'm going to need 2 of these, actually. I'm going to need 2 of these and 2 of these. Generate it? No, I thought I just got a python. No, I have 2 cobras, excuse me. Correction, that's what I mean. Yes. So I have enough to do one of these except for the wires. I don't have the wires. Let me get the wires. Yes. Finally, well, they were up over 9 at one point, so that's not the worst. It's still not great, but it's not the worst. Yeah, I'm not offering 8.5. I'll offer 790 for 5. I'm gonna need them, so we'll see what happens there. There, so there you go. Got at least one. That's all I need for right now to make one start going in production. Get one of these pythons. Right? I do need a python, right? Let's make sure I'm building the right thing here. Yeah. I need a python for each one of the impulses. I need 2 impulses, therefore I need 2 pythons. Let's get one of those in production right now. And then I'll need another chill for the other python, which needs another radio. So let's get a radio. Then let's get that chill. Alright, and then I'll have enough for the second python. I'll need... Right. That'll cover the 2 of those. Then I'll need 2 charges and 2 prosecutors. I have... Oh, wrong one. Prosecutor, I'm going to need... Hold on a second. I'm confused. I'm a little confused. What? Before I had 3 ammo packs. What did I make here before? It was a Cobra, right? That didn't require an ammo pack. Right. What? Throws me off. I had 3 ammo pack. Oh, one's probably on the vehicle. One's on the vehicle. It's in use, I think. I think that's going to be the factor. Yeah. Okay. All right, that's fine. Yeah, because I mean there's one right there. At least. Maybe 2. In fact, I think 2. Yeah. Okay. All right, so that's what that is. That was throwing me off. Okay, that's fine. I'll need another python, which is going to be a chill and a cobra. The chill is being crafted now. We have a cobra in storage, so we'll be done with the pythons. We're going to need also 2 charges. Charges are going to each require a horizon and another cobra. So I'm going to need 2 more cobras and 2 horizons. Right. So let's get this, which is Lupara and a radio. Times 2. Lupara. Radio. And then that will be able to create another Cobra. And then it's also going to require the horizon, of which I have one, but I'll need another. Oh, well, that's... Well, here, let me see. Do I have enough to make the horizon yet? I need another small wheel and a radio. So, small wheel, radio. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go, right? And then I'm also going to need a prosecutor for each one. So 2 of these. I've got 2 ammo packs already, which is good. I need 2 Judge 76 millimeters. Each of them is going to require medium wheel ST and an Avenger 57 millimeter. I have enough for 1. So another medium wheel ST and 57 millimeter Avenger. Avenger 57 millimeter, medium wheel ST. Done deal with those. Good deal, good deal. I'm starting to make sure I have the prerequisites made so that I can get all the things necessary within the scavengers. Once I get the 2 impulse grenade launchers, the 2 single grenade launcher impulse ones here, then I will move on to nomads. I will come over here and need to craft some items again in order to have a couple of owls and a couple of amperes, right? Yes, amperes. I'm sorry, a couple of hawks, a couple of amperes, and a couple of sinus zeros in order to make a couple of owls. Once I have the couple of owls to go along with those couple of impulses, I will be good to go for another retcher. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let me just see what the prices are on batteries right now. $21 for 100. Ugh, we need to spend a bunch on that. And is that even good? It's not great. It's not as bad as it has been. It's been, well, it's all fluctuating in that same market range, whatever, between 20 and 22 or something like that anyway. So it's not that much of a difference. So, whatever. We'll see. Then I'll get a retcher, and then I'll wait for the price to kind of go up a little bit on that, a little bit more, and, you know, hit it. And that'll be a profit. That'll put me in good coin standing again. So anyway, in the meantime, I thank you all for tuning in. I think I'm done with the challenges I'm going to accomplish today. We've made some progress towards some weekly challenges, a little bit toward this one. Got 4. I thought I only had 3, but that's fine. 4. A little bit to 1 of the 6 necessary for the 6 battles and easy raids. Obviously, we made progress toward the ones of completing daily challenges, and the one for battles and missions with scrap metal as the reward, and also for the hard raids with copper as the reward. Used up all our fuel. We're down to nothing. Took care of all the daily challenges themselves, as well as the replay of the 1 quest line challenge as well. So we're sitting pretty good. Our current scrap rate's just under 1,000, so you know, we'll see how close we can get that to 3,000 by the end of the week. I don't think we're going to. No, 3,000 doesn't sound right. Let me see. 4, 5, 6, 7, 1,700. Put me about 2,600. Yeah, I'll probably be just under 3,000 by the end of the week, and that means the next week, you know, by sometime during the course of the next week, I should be able to get another Pathfinder's container. So that'd be nice. Anyway, until next time, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't yet, please make sure you hit the follow button, and you'll be notified when I go live next time with this or any other game, which will probably be in just a little while, actually, with Kinchi, perhaps. And this is Secret Squirrel Games, as the logo indicates. I'm your host, Secret Squirrel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Your viewership is always appreciated, as is your company in the chat or anything. Any kind of interaction is always greatly appreciated. and I will talk to you guys later. All right, I will tune in again tomorrow at noon Eastern time, -4 UTC, and I will be doing Crossout again. We'll make some more progress towards some of these weekly challenges, and we will also, of course, knock out our daily challenges as well. And we'll see what other kind of mess we can get into. I won't have a tutorial to have to give tomorrow. It'll just be playtime. So tune in then. And also I stream Crossout currently at 3 p.m. also on Thursdays and Fridays, Eastern time again in the United States, which is -4 UTC. Like I said, I will talk to you guys later, but if you want to hang out, then hang out, and I will bring up some Kinshi in just a few minutes as well. But I'm going to end this stream in the meantime. So until next time, take care.